Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. So, thank you so much for being here. My name is Marshawn Olanio. Thanks so much for being here. So, we have been talking about we have decided, well, I decided to go live for these 30 days of January, not 31, 30. Yes, 30 days of January in order to understand how to become a better dater, because most of us, we point the finger at other people and we don't realize how we are showing up, the mistakes, the bad habits, the bad behaviors, the even the toxic behaviors that we are bringing to the table. And so I decided to come here and to create a 30-day how to become a better dater. Now, if you are just finding me for some reason, then I do already have, where are we at? Day 17. So I already have 16 videos within the playlist on my channel, how to become a better dater. How simple is that? If there is a topic, if you want to catch up on all of the things that I have already talked about, go to my YouTube channel and click. If you are on Facebook, you can absolutely just scroll up and see all of the videos on the Facebook group that you are actually watching this in. So again, thank you so much for coming here. If you're watching this on the replay, then absolutely come in and let me know. Hashtag replay, just to let me know that you are watching this on the replay. So today we are talking about vulnerability and why it's so important, and why opening up and sharing our vulnerability is not a weakness, and how it is actually a strength. Vulnerability is a strength, and we are talking about embracing the openness of the strength of being vulnerable without the fear of being judged here today. So who am I, and why should you listen to me, this random lady on YouTube or even Facebook if you found me that way? I am Marshawn Olanio. I am a shift relationship strategist, and I help professional Black women to show up differently in all of their relationships using tailored strategies, so they can cultivate loving, healthy, thriving relationships. And I say relationships because most people think about, when you hear the word relationship, most people think about romantic relationship. Well, the relationship that I like to hone in on the most is the relationship that you are cultivating with yourself. So what does the relationship look like that you are cultivating with yourself before you decide to jump into dating in 2025? My words got tied up there. But listen, we're no longer doing the same things that we were doing a year ago, 2 years ago, or even 5 years ago, especially if it didn't get you the results that you deem to feel that you should have received by this point in your life. A lot of times we are not getting to the next level in our life. In this case, the relationship that you believe that you should already be a part of and in, because of some of the ways that you are showing up, some of the ways that you are presenting yourself, some of the things that are coming out of your mouth that you may not even realize as being toxic. So I wanted to start this 30-day series because it is that important for you to be able to get different results by understanding the things that you are doing right so you can keep doing them, as well as the things that you are weak in. I don't like to say doing wrong, even though you may look at it like that, just the areas that you are weak in so you can start to become better in them. So now, with that being said, vulnerability as a strength versus a weakness. We are taught from a young age to be strong, to put on a brave face, to never show weakness. But what if I told you that vulnerability isn't a weakness at all? In fact, it is one of your greatest strengths that you possess. For too long, you have been conditioned, especially as Black women, to equate vulnerability with failure. It is so not true. You're told to keep it together, to never let the world see you cry, and to always prove your resilience. But what if those walls were built as and are keeping you from what you truly desire? Think about it. Vulnerability is the foundation of trust. It's what allows us to say, this is who I am, flaws and all, and still know that you, that me, that we are worthy of love and of acceptance. Without it, our relationships, whether they are romantic or platonic, or even the ones that we have with ourselves, as I talked about, can only scratch the surface, because true connection requires courage, and courage requires openness. Yes, sis. Being vulnerable can be and is at times scary. Admitting fears, doubts, and even imperfections feels like stripping away your armor in the world that sometimes feels unsafe. But consider this: how can you truly experience love if you're too afraid to let anyone into your world and see the real you? How can you even grow if you're unwilling to admit that you need help? Let me repeat that one. How can you grow if you are unwilling to admit that you need help? How can you inspire others if you're always hiding your own struggles? You cannot. You will not. The connection will not deepen in your romantic life and even in your friendships if you cannot and or will not showcase your vulnerability. The truth is this: vulnerability is a gift. It allows you and me to connect on a soul deep level. It invites authenticity into both of our lives, opens the doors to start and or continue to heal, and it gives others permission to do the same. Have you ever noticed in your life when you are starting to walk a walk that you've been talking, that others start to see your light shining in a different way? Maybe they even have DM'd you or have asked you outright, given you a call to say, you know what, I've noticed this about you and I like this. What are you doing differently? You're showing up differently. I see the smile. It seems more genuine. I've never seen you this happy. Wouldn't you want some of that in your own life? So, the next time you are tempted to hold it all in to save face because you want to be brave, you don't want anybody to know that you are struggling, I want you to pause. I want you to lean into your discomfort and take the risk of being seen. Because what you'll find on the other side isn't weakness at all, sis. It is your freedom. It is your freedom. Be willing to open up, be willing to showcase all of your imperfections. And I am talking about to the right people. If you think about your friendship circle, you know the people in your friendship circle that you can actually be yourself with. You don't feel like you have to hide or show up in any different type of way. You can just be you. That's the people I'm talking about. If you are dating or in a relationship and you don't feel that you can open up and be solely yourself with your potential significant other, or maybe you guys have already talked about the title girlfriend, boyfriend. If you don't feel that you can show up and just truly be yourself, why are you there? Why are you there? That's my question. Why are you there? In 2025, we're no longer just saving face. We're no longer wearing the mask. We're ripping all that stuff off and we are making an intentional decision to show up how we need to show up. 2025, we're no longer bringing all of the junk. We're no longer bringing all of the dead relationships. We're and including, but not limited to, right? The person that may have your emotional connection, but it's no deeper than that. And what do I mean by that? You are still emotionally connected to a person that does not see and or want a future with you. And so you have to be real with yourself. You have to be real with the situation that's right in front of you. You have to literally take those glasses off, rose-colored ones, have to take them off and see what is being presented to you. What is the real that is being presented to you, not what you want it to be. See what you need to see so you can make an informed decision to either continue with this person or people, right? Because I'm also talking about friendships. Or you can make an informed decision to say, you know what, I am not getting what I need from this relationship and or relationships. I'm not getting what I need. I need more. And so I deserve more. And I'm even demanding more. Let's be clear about that. In 2025, you can demand more from the people that are in your circle. So ask for it. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is one of your strengths, and it's also going to help with the deeper connections that you want in your life. So now I'm going to talk about how you can embrace openness without the fear of being judged. The first thing is to create space for joy, play, and rest. Create the space for joy, play, and rest. Your worth, sis, is not defined by how much you can endure or even produce. It's not. Sometimes embracing openness is about showing the sides of yourself that is light, carefree, and joyful. The American Psychological Association reports that joy and playfulness improves mental health and increases emotional resilience. Allowing yourself to rest, to laugh, and to just simply be is a radical act of self love. I was actually having this conversation with an accountability partner of mine, and I was talking about how I have already put on my calendar time for myself. The first 2 weeks in February is all for me, other than work, like, 'cause I got to work, right? So, other than work, the first 2 weeks of February, I will not be rushing out of the home to do anything. I will not set up play dates because I have a young child. I will not be setting up friendship dates so I can nurture those relationships. I will not even be entertaining the idea of going out on a date. After work is for me. I have been very intentional about that time because that's going to bring me joy, but it's also going to help me rest. I'm sure, like many of you, you have been going and going and going since the holiday season came upon us. Maybe your time has been restful since then. So, since January, you're no longer looking for presents. You're no longer thinking about the holiday parties and all of the dresses and everything else that comes along with the holidays. You're no longer thinking about any of that. Well, for me, mine didn't end. I'm here. I had to come up with all this content for 30 days, make an intentional decision to be here, right? So, mine didn't end. The first 2 weeks of February, I have already marked it in my calendar. That is me time. And I'm totally taking it. And I'm super happy that I got a chance to actually calendar it because when my other uh, business, she's not my business partner, but just to make it easy, business partner, we were talking about it and she wanted me to meet earlier. And I was like, oh, sis, can't do it. Oh, what happened? I was like, yeah, I'm choosing me. I need some downtime to just relax, release, and relate to myself, to be even more intentional about nurturing myself, recharging myself, getting back to some of the things that I really want to do and or have not done for a period of time because of the holiday season. And just I had a lot of adjustments last year, a lot of adjustments last year. And so it's time for me to finally get settled into some of those adjustments from last year into 2025. So create space for joy, play, and rest. I do have time I do have joy and rest in there. And so now I need to at least put one or two play things in there. And I plan to do that. So that's the very first things, to create space for joy, play, and rest. The second thing is to focus on your why, not the other person's reaction. What do I mean by that? When you open up, remember why you are opening up. It may be for healing, it may be for growth, it may be for connection. The judgment of others becomes less significant when you are clear about your own intentions. So you're not worrying about how they're going to react to it. You are owning the fact that I got to focus on why I'm doing this. So let me go back to my example that I was just talking about. When I put that on my schedule, and the funny part about this thing is that I have a client and she was talking about some of the things that she wanted to do herself. And I was like, hey, take out your calendar right now and calendar these dates. So when other people come to you and ask you for your time, energy, and effort on this particular day that you schedule for you, you can already say no. So I'm bringing that up because When I told her, I was like, wait a minute, Marshawn, you haven't even scheduled yours. You said it, but you haven't scheduled it. So I came home immediately after that coaching conversation, and I scheduled my own. I scheduled my own. So I'm saying that because later on, right, someone asked me for my time, energy, and effort during my 2 week block time, the time that I blocked out, and I was able to say no. But it was because I was able to come back to, why are you taking this time away? Why are you going to focus on yourself? Why are you not going to, have more coaching calls or play dates or friendship hangouts? Why are you not doing it? So I had to come back and focus on my why, because I need to nurture myself just like you have to nurture yourself as well. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is a strength. The third way, in order for you to look at vulnerability as a strength and not a weakness, is to practice self acceptance as the foundation for openness. Let me say that again. Practice self acceptance as the foundation for openness. What do I mean? Before you can share your true self with others, you must first embrace self acceptance of yourself, which means acknowledging all parts of who you are, your joys, your fears, your strengths, and your struggles without judging yourself. None of us are perfect. We all have flaws. Absolutely every single one of us has flaws. And we're bringing some of that to the table. And maybe many of us are bringing all of that to the table. So think about what makes you happy and bring that. Accept it. Love on yourself. But what fears do you have that you also need to accept about yourself? What are some of your strengths? Lean into your strengths. Start naming some of your strengths. But also, what are some of your struggles? Because when you acknowledge these things, you actually make them smaller. Most people are fearful of doing the thing until they actually do the thing. What do I mean by that? The fear of a lot of people have a fear of public speaking. When they never or do not take advantage of speaking publicly in that moment, the fear just grows and grows and grows. I know a lot of creators that want to start a YouTube channel, but have never pressed the button for the fear of what the audience is going to say about them, the fear of, is anybody going to watch me? The fear of, is this going to go anywhere? The fear of a lot of different things. Until you step into that fear. Maybe your fear is never getting into a relationship. Maybe your fear is, I'm in a relationship, but I can't seem to be vulnerable. I feel like I got to hold all this stuff close to my chest because I've been hurt before and I didn't like the way that felt. And so if I hold it close to my chest, I don't have to worry about getting hurt. And although that may be partially true, the other side of that is the other person, your potential partner or significant other, will never feel like they truly know you. They won't feel truly connected to you because you're holding all of these things to your chest. So the very thing that you think is protecting you, it may have protected you before out of survival. The right person, the right people should get access to your vulnerability. They should be able to see you in your ugly. They should be able to see you without your mask. Those are the people that have the right, if you will, to experience all of you. When it's time to cry, you need to cry. You should be able to open up and cry. Some people see that as a weakness. It is not. It literally is a strength to be able to just be yourself and acknowledge the fact that you are not always strong all the time, because none of us are. None of us are. You may handle things for the majority of the time great, but there are times where you need to show up and showcase your vulnerability. This is to your private group of people or select group of people that really get to see you, the real you. So practice self acceptance, because this is something that you must do, and you have to do it without you judging yourself. Because the more that you don't judge yourself, you won't care about how other people see you slash judge you. So going back to the example of maybe you don't or cannot or feel like you cannot open up in your romantic relationship. Sis, I'm here to tell you that that is one of the things that's keeping you stuck. That's one of the things or reasons why your relationship is not going to the next level, because your partner, and there may be more than one than this item, but your partner does not feel like he understands you. He doesn't feel like he knows you. And I actually have had a client of mine who was a man. He came to me at one point and we were having this very discussion, and he was literally trying to decide if he was going to continue on with the relationship or end it, because he did not feel that he knew his girlfriend of several years. Let's just say 6, 7, somewhere around there. He didn't feel like he knew her enough, that she was vulnerable enough, that he really could just understand who she was and actually build a life with her. She held a whole lot to her chest, and she called it, I'm just private. That may be true, but that privacy barrier has to be broken between you and somebody that you're saying that you want to build a life with. They should have access to you in that way. If no one else, your significant other and the person that you're trying to build a life with should have the access to you in that way. So practice self acceptance as the foundation for openness. You have to accept you before anybody else is going to accept you. You have to accept you fully before anybody else is going to accept you fully, because they're not going to understand you and be able to accept you fully, because they don't know the real you, the fullness of you, flaws and all. Flaws are a part of the package deal, because all of us have them. The fourth way to embrace vulnerability as a strength, and be open with it, right, is to redefine judgment as projection. What do I mean by that? The fear of judgment often stems from assuming other people's opinion define you, define me, define us. You hear that word, assuming. In reality, judgment is often more about the other person's perspective than your own truth. Let me say that again. In reality, judgment is often more about the other person's perspective than your own truth. Recognizing this, I'm sorry, that was my notes. Recognizing this can reduce the weight of your opinions. You have to recognize it as it's somebody else's stuff, but it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. The fifth way to recognize vulnerability as openness is to recognize vulnerability as a tool for growth. Vulnerability allows you to face and process your emotions instead of running away from them. According to the Journal of Counseling Psychology, emotional openness is linked to higher levels of self awareness and stronger interpersonal connections. So, by choosing to be open, you allow yourself the space to grow emotionally and spiritually. The Journal of Counseling Psychology says that emotional openness is linked to higher levels of self awareness and stronger interpersonal connections. So when you think about your relationship or the relationship that you aspire to have slash be in, when you can fully be you, when you can open up and just share yourself, your crazy side, your silly side, your funny side, your serious side, right? The side where you just don't know what the heck to do, the side that needs some help. When you can showcase the fullness of who you are, your potential partner, your potential mate can give you even more grace and mercy when they see you running them up, when they see you cutting up, when they see you, quote unquote, not doing the right thing. They could give you a lot more grace and mercy when they know the fullness of who you are, when they've seen your full heart, when they've seen you cry, when they've seen you ask for help, when they've seen you be strong, when they've seen you put people in their place, when they've seen you set and enforce your boundaries, when they see you speak up and ask for the things that you feel that you deserve. Whether or not you get them is a different story. But the act of taking the courage to actually speak up and ask for the things that you need, now they're like, okay, I see you, but I also understand you. And I appreciate how you are showing up in this moment with me, how I'm able to see you. Because when you allow yourself to be open, you create space for that connection, also for your own healing. And the biggest thing is your transformation. Confidence comes into play when you're able to just open up, share who you are, not worrying about the repercussions and or their reactions. Doesn't matter, because you are owning who you are and you're also owning what you want. You're putting it out there. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it, but you are taking courageous steps to ask for the very thing that you want, because vulnerability is a pathway to deeper relationships. I can't say that enough. To deeper connections, to increased self awareness, and also emotional freedom. It's not about being fearless. Most people that have fear, they feel the fear. The people that push past the fear, they actually do have fear. They just push past it. They feel the fear of whatever's happening, whatever moment. Maybe it is stepping on stage. Maybe it is having that tough conversation. Maybe it is asking your boss. Maybe it's having that another tough conversation with your friend. Maybe it's just setting the boundary. Whatever your thing is, emotional freedom comes with it. It's not about being fearless. There's still fear there, but it's about feeling the fear and showing up anyway, because you trust that your truth matters, because it does. Your truth matters. So, if you have your journal here, as I talked about before, you have your journal and you are ready to take some notes, this is what you're doing this week. So, this week, I'm going to challenge you to take the step towards vulnerability, whether it's sharing a part of you, a part of your story with someone that you trust, or journaling your emotions. Remember, every act of authenticity strengthens your connection to yourself and your partner and your friends. So, what are you committing to this week? How are you going to show up and be even more vulnerable? Understanding that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Understanding that the more you step into your vulnerability, you will be connected to those in your circle. The more you step into being vulnerable, the more that you showcase your flaws, the more that you ask for help, the more that you take that courageous step to have that conversation, the more that do the thing that really scares you, your confidence will increase. Your self-awareness will increase. The thing that scared you to most to do, to ask for, that fear will start to dissipate, because now you have done the thing. And you know that by doing the thing, you are stepping into the unknown. And then now you're on the other side of the unknown. Well, I didn't realize that the conversation was going to be as smooth as it is. Why was I even scared? All the stories I was making up, none of them are true. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? Be courageous. Show up. Be vulnerable. If you are already dating and or in a fresh relationship, or even, let's say, even a relationship where you don't feel super connected to the person, the problem just may be you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.